Kia ora and welcome to this UFC special interview. Now, Kiwi UFC lightweight Dan Hooker will be competing at UFC 266 in Las Vegas next month, and he is here now to tell us a little bit more about it. Kia ora, Dan.
Kia ora.
Well,
It's exciting getting it all announced. It's been something that I've been hunting for a while. It's funny that I signed the contract Monday, and then we go into lockdown on Tuesday. So it's not. Maybe that was the bad luck. When I signed that contract, I set things in motion.
in saying that, your decision making must have been pretty quick, seeing as you're there at CKB's reception desk right now. So how quickly did you have to react and, keep the ball rolling with preparations?
Boom, straight away. Once we all knew that we were going into lockdown on Tuesday, I think you just gave everyone till midnight to get into the gym, just to follow those kind of regulations that were set out. So everyone had till midnight, but I was lucky enough that a bunch of guys, there were a few other guys that had fights coming up, but I was lucky that a bunch of guys stepped up to help me prepare in lockdown. That's a massive sacrifice to be away from your families, to be away from your partner and your children, to help someone else prepare for a fight. But yeah, again, another testament to CKB and kind of the family system that we've built here.
And on that, I mean, City Kickboxing is no stranger to preparing under these conditions, especially, with the travel restrictions, COVID tests, up to your eyeballs for you and a lot of the other fighters. But I remember in an older interview, Eugene saying that this, kind of intimate preparation is something that he preferred with his fighters. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Oh man, it's been pretty crazy. Like we all live upstairs, Marae style, on the mats, and we come down and train. Like we go downstairs, train in the morning, go have lunch, come back in the afternoon, train again, and then dinner and sleep. Like, so we're just eat, sleep, train, man. And it's no driving to the gym, no distractions. It's been quite refreshing. It's reminding me of when I was like a lot younger and you're just a gym rat and you have nothing else in your life except training and eating food, and you just you're just like in a bit of a in that cycle, as you get older and you get other different things. Like I've got my gym and other businesses and other stuff that kind of keeps you busy or potentially distracts you. So this has been a real back to basics. So I feel very confident in the training. I feel like I haven't skipped a beat, even though New Zealand's gone to lockdown. I haven't skipped a beat in preparation for this fight.
For you in particular, you mentioned, coming away from your families and things like that. You've had to do that, quite often. You're probably the most active during these lockdown times in terms of New Zealand UFC fighters. So how did the family respond to you coming out of home again, and how do you deal with it?
I'm lucky. That's all I can say. I'm lucky. I have a wife that's very that supports me, and she's been there. She's been there since before the UFC. Obviously, I was like fighting and stuff like that when I met her, but I was a lot poorer then. I had a lot less money when I first met her, so things are going good. She can't back the just kind of my insane commitment and like tenacity to the sport is something that she just allows me to do. So she understood. Obviously, it's not the best, but she understood. I think my daughter somewhat understood that Daddy's spending a couple of weeks at the gym. So it's just good having that support system behind you.
Yeah, that would surely be very important. Now let's get into the fight. You're currently ranked 8th in the lightweight division, and you've taken on an opponent who's not yet ranked but is on the cusp of. So I'm guessing, these COVID times probably have a lot to play with that decision. But what was it that attracted you to this fight?
Oh man, I set that date. So I've been trying to fight ranked opponents since June. I've pretty much called out June, July, August, September. That's 4 months. I've put the challenge out or put the call out for one of these other ranked guys to step up. and get a crack at the top 10, whether they were ranked higher or whether they were ranked lower. That's been kind of public knowledge. I think everyone that follows me or follows the lightweight division has known that Dan Hooker's looking for a fight and trying to pick himself a fight. And just top to bottom, no one took the opportunity. That was the reason I couldn't get on Israel's card in June. The UFC didn't want me fighting someone that wasn't ranked, and none of the rank guys were free. So now to be in September and in the same situation is a no-go for me. And I booked a voucher to get back into New Zealand in May. So I booked September in like May. And
Wow.
so I have a voucher to get home that I booked 4 or 5 months ago. So if I didn't take this fight where I only have to stay an extra week in the United States, then I'm in a position like Jenna Fabian. Then I'm in a position like Kai Kara France, where I'm going over with no voucher. So I'm leaving my family, potentially staying in America for 4 or 5 or 6 months away from my family. So that's something that I wasn't. That's massive. That's kind of heartbreaking to your family. So that's why we're here. That's why Nasrat's the guy that stepped up to the plate. So I tip my hat and I thank him for stepping up to the plate and taking this fight. If he didn't step up to the plate, I don't know what I would have done. I would have had to pull my hair out and pull someone out of the crowd or something like that. But yeah, it's just none of the other guys stepped up. That's why Nasrat's here.
Last time you fought was in January, obviously, and you mentioned that, you've had to get your voucher months in advance and you've set this date for yourself. So how important was it, how important is it, I should say, that you stay active as a UFC fighter?
Fighters get better training, definitely. You get better from training, but you need that competition. Training for training and training for competition are two incredibly different things. So that experience, is something that I would take forward. Even though the results weren't the ideal from the last 2 fights, that's not anything that I would take back, because I was out there. I've learned from those experiences, and the lessons that I learned from them will propel me towards the title. I don't really care what anyone else says. It's like a level of self-confidence that's come through the experiences that I've been through in the sport. So I've taken those lessons, and you'll see them kind of come into fruition in the next few fights.
Fighting Nasrat, is a win essential for you, especially seeing as you're ranked and he's not?
Oh, wins are always essential. You can't. It's not like there's no such thing as a fight that you can lose. Even even if you fight for the title, it's not like you lose that and you're like, oh well, it was for the championship. Like every fight you need to win. You need to win every fight. People gravitate towards, and people love winners. That's just how humans operate, is that they gravitate towards winners. And it's something that I know full well. I started my career 3 wins, 3 losses. I started my UFC career 3 wins, 3 losses. So now this is not a new situation to me. This is something that I've been through before, and it's I've learned from those past experiences.
What have you made of your opponent so far? Obviously, you've done your research on him, and now there'll be, quite the spotlight on him, especially coming up a ranked fighter. What have you made of him so far, and how do you plan to, take him down?
Yeah, he's a good fighter. He definitely is a quality fighter, just because people maybe don't know his name so much. He does have like a big support base, a lot of steam behind him, and definitely has the skill set or the caliber of a ranked fighter, whatever that means. If someone could explain to me how the rankings are even put into place, that would be very interesting to me. But no, he's definitely a quality opponent, and it's gonna be a tough fight. just because one guy is well known and one guy is not, doesn't mean that has anything to do with the stylistic matchup or the skill sets, the skill set of the fight.
A huge talking point, of course, of this matchup is being on the preliminary card of this event. How did you take to receiving that you would be on that part of the card, and does it matter to you?
Nah. Like I pushed for this fight. I pushed to make this date happen. When they told me that they couldn't get a ranked opponent, like I pushed to get anyone. I pushed for Nasrat actually sent me an Instagram message.
Oh, wow.
So then Sean Shelby calls me up and he's like, man, no one ranked. Had I not had that fight, I'd be fighting next year. I would have had to take the rest of the year off. Nasrat had sent me a message on Instagram. So I said, well, this kid Nasrat messaged me. He's the only guy that stepped up to the plate. Like, let's get this thing done. So I knew, and I'd seen how big of a card it was. 2 title fights, Nick Diaz, Curtis Blades, Andrade. Like, it's a massive card. Like, it's a stack fight card. So am I offended that they haven't put me on the main card? Like, it's not. The silly thing would be, or the stupid thing would be, if you turn down the fight because you weren't on the main card. Like, that's the most, in my opinion, that's like the most egotistical thing. My ego is not that big, or my head's not that big that I would get offended by something like that. Like, it doesn't hurt me financially one bit. I get the same amount of money whether I fight Dustin Poirier or the same amount of money of whether I fight Nasrat. So it doesn't hurt me financially. So it just hurts my ego. But that's a stupid reason to turn down a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, nah, I didn't care I expected it and I didn't care in the slightest, if I'm being honest.
Well, looking at the card, UFC 266, you've just, rattled off a few of the big names that are going to be on that card. How does it feel to be in the company of all these big fights? Teammate Volkanovski's headlining the event as well. So how much of a big deal is a card like this, especially during these times?
Oh, it's massive. It's International Fight Week. It's like a massive card. There'll be fans. I think we're at the T-Mobile Arena. So it'll be good to fight in front of fans. I haven't fought in front of screaming fans for a very long time. So that's another thing to look forward to. So massive card, massive opportunity. I'm so excited to get out there and get over stateside and experience all of that.
So what does the next 5-ish weeks look like for you?
By the look of the case numbers, probably just living at the gym. It don't look like we're going anywhere, if I'm being honest.
In terms of your preparations, though, what would the camp look like counting down to fight day?
Smashing it out, being here at the gym with the boys, grinding it out, couple, 2, 3, 4 sessions a day, getting the work done. That's what we're known for. That's what we're good for. And I'm excited. I hope you're all excited because I'm excited.
100% we are excited, Dan. It's going to be great to see you back in there and all the very best with preparations, and please travel safe over there.
Thank you very much.
And Whanau, of course, you can catch UFC 266 here live on Sky Arena next month. Don't miss it. It will be coming to you live from Las Vegas. Hei kona mai.